All right, everybody, welcome here inside the Den, Fox 5 Sports, Sound Off Sports. I'm Mike Davis. I'm joined right now by a guy I remember freaking out watching during the slam dunk contest, NBA All-Star Weekend. This guy played for the Indiana Pacers, but he was a slam dunk champion. I'm saying Kareem, Magic, everybody, all these judges were going crazy as this guy was beating Birdman. You remember Chris Anderson. He was beating Ricky Davis, all these guys. And who did win that NBA dunk contest? It was none other than Fred Jones.
This guy.
Fred Jones right here. Don't jump out of the building when you're here with us today. Can you do that for us?
I can definitely sit here and relax, yeah.
Okay, good. Fred, so much to talk about. We're going to be getting into Shoot360. You're an ambassador of this great situation where it's not just for training. There's leagues, ball is life. We're going to be learning all about that. But let's start with what's going on right now. You're an former Indiana Pacer. It's a good time to be a fan of the Indiana Pacers. Right. Take me back. When you were with the team, was it Rick Carlisle? Was he there in his first stint while you were there? Who was coaching you at the time?
So when I got drafted to Indiana, Isaiah Thomas was the head coach.
Wow.
Yep. So he was the one that drafted me. Played 1 year for him, and then Rick Carlisle came in my second year as the coach and was there for my last 3 years.
And you're there with those teams, of course, Jermaine O'Neal, Ron Artest. Those are good times being a Pacer fan. But now, in his second stint, Rick Carlisle's done a lot of good stuff. Obviously, they just lost the NBA Finals. Haliburton, up-and-coming superstar, of course, unfortunately got the injury. But tell us, what is it about Rick Carlisle? He's been all over the league. He was a good player, but coming back to Indiana from Dallas, this guy just seems to know the city and seems to know what to do with the team.
Well, Rick is a top 3 coach in the league, and always been. He's special. Even, I played for a lot of coaches. I always said Rick was the best coach I ever played for.
Really?
He seems to just understand his players, what they do well, what they don't do well, and create an offense, create a defense that fits them, and the talent that he has, and put them in good situations so he doesn't put you in a bad situation.
It's pretty striking, as a non-former NBA player, to watch how the system he rolls out as a coach. It's almost like watching an NFL game and you see Sean McVay and the way he calls an offense for the Rams. Like, there's something he does with his offense where it's constantly moving. There's a lot of energy. It's heavy, good guard play. Break down from a basketball standpoint the X's and O's of the offense that he really has constructed, because it's not just run and gun. It has a lot of that D'Antoni, old Phoenix Suns vibe, but there's a lot of good guard play, a lot of good shooting, a lot of good teamwork. It seems different than the NBA we've been accustomed to of recent years.
Yeah. Well, I think the best thing about Rick is that he doesn't really have a system that he's going to run with every team. When he was in Dallas, he played a different way. They played heavy pick and roll with Luka and put the ball in his hand. Luka created for everybody else. Now with Haliburton and Nembhard and Naismith, Pascal Siakam, he has to play a different way. So the best thing about Rick is that he creates the system that you're going to run by the talent that he has. And he has to watch and see what he has before he can put it together.
But it seems like he brings out the most of these players. Where else is TJ McConnell going to be a factor to that degree? Yeah, he played in Philly, but he's playing at a different level in a system, you're saying there's not an exact system, but under a coach like him. How much of the NBA is dependent on where you get drafted and situationally? Because you're a guy at Oregon, you take this team to the Elite Eight. Luke Rindauer was your teammate. You're drafted. We got to remember, you're drafted 14th overall in 2002. The first pick of that draft, Yao Ming, then Jay Williams, a lot of good players. Amari Stoudemire coming straight out of high school. So as the 14th overall pick coming out, you had to sit behind Reggie Miller, right?
Yeah.
So tell me what's going through your head coming out of Oregon, a Portland kid. You had this big monster senior season, right, where you're averaging like 18 a game. You had this big blowout. Tell me, when you get to the league, how much is top of mind for where you're going to end up and what's best for you situationally?
Honestly, getting to the league, you're so happy with just being there. Like the first year that you don't really understand that until, I think going into my second year, I was like, hold on, I got to play now. Like, I've sat the whole year.
Right.
I got to figure out how to get on the floor. Reggie Miller, I got a Hall of Famer in front of me that it doesn't matter. Isaiah Thomas told me it doesn't matter if you kill Reggie Miller every day in practice. He's still going to play. You're not going to play.
That's what he told you.
Yeah.
And this is the end of his career.
Right, right. Well, yeah, I played with Reggie like his last 3 years.
Right.
And so get to my second year, I go to training camp. Rick Carlisle is the new coach. About a week before training camp, I go to him and say, hey, I want to know, where do you see me playing or whatever? And he was like, honestly, I don't know if we're going to have minutes for you.
He was that honest.
He was that honest. And then so we go to training camp the next week, and I have a great training camp. I guard Reggie the whole time. I'm chasing him off of every screen. And then after training camp, he come to me and say, hey, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could play defense like that. Like, you've earned your minutes. And so I could basically almost check myself into the game, because I knew where my minutes were coming.
Wow.
And that's another good thing about Rick, that it's consistency. So it's the same thing all the time.
And he was honest. I mean,
right.
And you appreciate that getting as a player. What was Isaiah Thomas like as a coach? Because obviously not the greatest GM, not the greatest coach. And it's fascinating because a lot of times people are like, hey, a Hall of Famer, a guy who was a point guard for the Pistons and the Bad Boys, like, he should be able to know how to coach more than anybody. But sometimes it's the guys like the Carlisles who are more bench players and role players that know how to coach better. Why is that?
Well, Isaiah's my guy. Like, he's the reason I got drafted 14. Nobody was going to draft me that high. He was my guy, and he loved my game. He actually traded for me to come to New York when he was there also.
When he was the GM.
Yep. GM and the coach.
Yeah.
And so, I have nothing to say bad about it. He's been good to my family, all of that. As far as a coach, though, when he was in Indiana, like, we had a good team, and we were a solid playoff team the 1 year. And I think we were just about to take off, but Larry Bird came in, and him and Isaiah didn't get along. And so he fired him right away, kind of before he had the team that could, do more.
So two different visions.
Right.
It was just two different visions. It's an interesting way to kind of look at it. So I'm curious, is it like you are a former slam dunk champion? If you're trying to coach somebody to become a great dunker, can you just not – is it harder for a guy like Isaiah because he's a Hall of Famer
100%.
to relate to somebody who doesn't have his natural ability? Like,
right.
You have that. You got to be God-given for some of the things you did at that slam dunk contest. You can't even teach another NBA. You can't teach T.J. McConnell to start doing that stuff. So is it part of it? It's just hard to relate when you're gifted to such a degree?
No, you're absolutely right. As a coach, you're trying to get people to do certain things, and I think for him, if a player can't do this and he thinks that that's easy for him to do, then that relationship is a little different. So I agree. I think it's harder for really good players to become coaches.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of success with, bench guys or people that's coming in that got a little more leeway to players. Yeah.
It's so interesting, and of course we got to detail some of your time there. So of course you come into league 2002, Yao Ming. This is an interesting part in the NBA. You're on this team, and correct me if I'm wrong. 2004, you're on the dunk contest, right?
Yep.
And you win. It's a tremendous, and we're going to break all that down. But this was also the year of Malice in the Palace. You knew I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Was this the same year?
That is the most asked question I get from anything basketball was, what? You were in Malice in the Palace? Tell me about it.
Tell me about it. This was legendary stuff. I don't even think people remember, they had a documentary about it, of course, but I don't even think the documentary did it justice. It was
not even close.
There was so much craziness with this. And of course, this was in the heyday of the NBA where there was just, I don't know. I look back fondly on those NBA years because it was a different grit to play in the NBA. It's almost a little Fisher-Price nowadays. I mean, there's no Ben Wallace back, today. There's no Ron. This is different level stuff.
Right.
So take me to that day.
Yeah, so the craziest day in sports,
What happened?
really. No, so Detroit had won the championship the year before.
Yeah.
We lost to them in the conference finals the year before.
That was your rookie season.
That was my second
year. Okay.
So this was the start of my third year.
Okay.
We go into that game, and I think we're 8-1, 9-1 going into that game. We're the best team in the league, and we're trying to go prove it in Detroit,
Yeah.
Who had won it the year before. We are winning the game by 20, 25. That happened with only like 30 seconds to go in the game. Like, we have demolished them, in that game. And the foul happens, all of the scuffles and stuff happen. Ron is laying on the table. If you look at the video, I'm sitting right, because I'm in the game, and I'm standing right there next to him, like talking to him when the cup hits him. And then he gets hit, runs in the stands, and I jump in right after him and try to go up. And yeah, it was.
And what are you trying to do?
So my teammates are in the stands. I'm
You're
going to
trying
try
to protect it.
just make sure that they get back all right. I didn't go in the stands with the intention to, to fight anybody.
Right.
I went in the intentions to, I got to get my teammates. Like,
Right.
It's only 15, 20 of us with
So
players and
detail
staff.
it for people who've never seen it. A cup actually, a fan, somebody who's watching the game actually throws a cup, and it hits Ron.
Right.
And this
he
is
had great aim. Whoever the fan was, he should throw
It
darts.
could have been Joe Montana. We don't know who. I'm just kidding. But the truth is, this is before Ron Artest was Meta World Peace. I mean, so clue us into who he was as a locker room guy. I mean, if anybody in the NBA had to get hit by a cup from a fan, he's probably the last guy you would want to hit, right?
Right. No, it's crazy because Ron, now Meta World Peace, is an unbelievable person.
Yeah.
Great person. But competition did something to him. During competition.
And I think
it brings
outsiders don't get that.
Right,
Like sometimes people who haven't played professional sports don't realize it's high emotions. There's a lot going. There's adrenaline. There's things happening, and that's not necessary. You can't judge Ron in that moment as being. He's not an accountant at Merrill Lynch.
Right.
Like he's kind of a gladiator.
Right. Well, you're in competition. You're a human, so life things happen. We don't know what is going on at home, what's going on, in the rest of his life at that day. And I knew it was something, that year because he had actually tried to take some time away from the team. He had tried to quit the team like
Really?
2 or 3 games into the season.
He just had off the
saying
court.
he wanted to do something else. And he ended up wanting to come back after a couple games. And, then this happened.
So he gets hit by the cup. He goes into the stands. You start following him. And then what's going through your mind?
I really don't. It's just survival. You really don't have any thoughts. You're just whatever, in this arena, it's 20 of us and it's 10,000 people. You don't know who's with you or against you, so you're just trying to survive, just trying to get, go help your teammates, get back to the floor, get off the floor into the locker room. They're throwing beer and cups and everything on us as we're walking through. You have no idea who's trying to harm you or help you.
And what happened? Then when does Ben Wallace and all the Pistons stuff get involved with the?
No, so that was before
they didn't. After Ron's in the stands, what happened? There's not too much.
Nothing with them at that point. Okay. That all happened before he laid on the table.
Okay. All right. So after all, it's such a crazy time in history. And then after that, does David Stern what happens after that? Because it's like, how do you even blame the play? It's hard.
Right.
But I'm sure David Stern was a character. What did he?
Well.
Is it like you got to do an HR meeting?
Right. It would be different today. There was no HR. David Stern was the judge, of everything.
What does he actually have to come in and say? Hey, guy, go on a conference call.
So he had a press conference the next day.
Yeah.
To tell us the suspensions and the stuff. And So he gives all of the suspensions, and he opens it up for questions. The first question that came out, I still don't know who this reporter was, but the first question that was asked was, "Hey, why didn't Fred Jones get suspended? He went in the stands." I was like, "What?
Are you serious?"
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so funny. What did he say, David Stern?
Well, Stern was like, "Well, some of our guys were peacemakers, and I think that's what he would." He went in the stands as a peacemaker.
Whoa, yo, we got to find out who this reporter is. That is a story.
Yeah.
See, well, look, you'll be remembered as a peacemaker. That's a good thing. Now, as we're traversing your whole history and stuff, so the dunk contest. I mean, this was, a major stage. I know you probably growing up in Portland, you remember watching, the dunk contest growing up. It's the premier event. And back then, it was even bigger,
right.
Than it is today.
Right.
Take me through how you planned for that whole, because I think I was watching back, you had, I think your third dunk was like people always talk about your third dunk as really one of the most underrated dunks of all time. But as you got nominated for this, did you get nominated or did you put your name in the hat? How does the dunk contest work?
So got very lucky, to be invited. Stu Jackson, he was he was in charge at the league of putting people in, getting people in those contests. He was an Oregon Duck. I'm an Oregon Duck, so he had saw me, in college and kind of knew that I was capable of it. So he called and invited me to be in the contest. I actually said no. I didn't want to do it.
Why?
I really didn't think I was a dunk contest dunker. I thought I was a game dunker. I wanted to, and so I didn't know if I had the creativity.
Gotcha.
Even though in high school I was in dunk contests, in college I was in a dunk contest. But I was just like, I don't know.
And you didn't think just for your personal brand, you're not that kind of guy.
Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking that good at that point. But so what I did is I have a nephew, and who now actually lives here with me in Vegas, and he's a cop. Just graduated from the police academy.
Oh, there we go.
City. And so I called him, and he was young, and I said, "Hey, they invited me to be in a dunk contest," but I said no. And he was like, "What? You promised to take me to All-Star Weekend." And I was like, "Okay, well, they'll pay for it, so I got to get back." So I basically did it because they were going to pay for my weekend, give me the rooms and stuff. And it turned out good. It
paid off. So did you plan these dunks, or I think you had an audience member? Was that who's the audience member who threw you the ball?
So his name is Brandon Brooks. We were AAU teammates from the Portland area. He was in LA. He played for USC.
Oh, okay.
And so
so did you plan these dunks or no?
So how he got into it is, soon as I get to LA, he comes to the hotel, and he's seen me play, since I was a little kid. And so he was like, "I know everything you can do. You're going to do this, this, and this. These are your dunks." And he was like, "Maybe we can do this." And I was like, "Yeah, I like that, but we got to try it." But then we didn't have no time to try it.
Oh.
I couldn't try any other stuff. And so, we get into it. I do my first couple dunks. And I don't think my first
dunk you got all 50 this time, right?
Dunk I got all 50s, and I thought it was the worst dunk. Yeah, I thought it was the worst dunk that I did.
Really?
Because my toss was too close to the basket. I wanted to toss it further away so I could really
You kind of did like an outstretched thing on your first dunk. You threw yourself the ball. It was lofty, and you kind of did like an outstretched thing. I liked your second dunk. I thought was cool. But it got less, it was a reverse,
scores.
Carry under
So the second dunk, I just did that because I knew I got a 50 on the first, so I just need to make it to the second round.
Right.
So it's just like try to just get something down, and so then that happens. We get to the final round, me and Jason Richardson, who had won it 2 years in a row.
Right.
And then my first dunk, I throw it up and I catch like a 360 fully. Like it was the perfect toss with that one because it made me extend as far as I could. And then I get a 50 on that one, and he misses his dunk in the first round. So I'm like, oh my goodness. I can win.
Right.
like I never thought I could win it, with him in it.
And you ended up, and he had some legendary ones in Philly. He was two-time champion, as you mentioned. So you end up winning. And what was the moment like? Can you relive it back in your head and you feel like you're there? It was just like yesterday, or does it feel like you don't even remember anything about it?
No, I remember it. It was a long time ago, but I remember it still.
And I mean, it's Magic, Kareem, Norm Nixon.
Right? Yeah.
Guys,
No. All of the players were there. I remember coming out, to go do it, coming out on the stage, and I go up for like a little practice dunk, and I tap the backboard and reverse it.
Yeah.
And who got me going was Allen Iverson was sitting on the sideline, and he said, "Damn, Fred, is that easy?" And I was like, I don't know. He was like, all right. And so he started betting people on the side. I got Fred.
What? AI was betting on you during the dunk contest.
Yeah. So that kind of gave me confidence and was like, okay, I got to, I'm feeling good. The people in the arena, made the adrenaline, so I was jumping well and it was good. It was a good night.
And next thing you know, Craig Sager's interviewing you, and you're the winner. And I don't know, this jacket, I was paying homage to him. It might be a little too mild for Craig Sager, but it's an incredible, and it really put your name on the map, I think, to a lot of people, which is an exciting thing. When you're coming from Portland, you play at Oregon, you get to the league, when you start facing guys like that you grew up watching, like you're playing behind Reggie, but like AI or Kobe, the people who really pushed the culture, what was that like? Do you have any incredible stories of playing against Kobe or something like that?
Yeah, I played against Kobe a lot, of course.
What was he like?
A killer. Yeah. I mean, he was unbelievable player. I felt like I was a really good defender. And I could defend him, but Kobe was a tough shot maker. So you could play great defense, guard him, and he could still make shots.
He's still draining. He was the hardest player you ever had to guard?
No.
Really?
No. I tell people all the time, Brandon Roy.
Really? Is it just because you're a Portland guy you're saying this?
No, I played with Brandon as a rookie, but he was Kobe thought Brandon Roy was the toughest guy he ever guarded.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So you're saying if Brandon Roy didn't get that knee injury,
he was a monster. Portland would have won championships too with.
That's how good he was.
Yes.
Why was he that good? What did he do?
He could do everything. His size, his strength, play at his own pace, can shoot it, was athletic, could do everything on the court.
Hold on. So Fred Jones is saying how many years were you in the league?
7.
7 years. You played in China and Italy too. You've seen a lot of basketball. You're saying the toughest people you've ever guarded. 1, it's Brandon Roy.
Yep.
2,
Gilbert Arenas.
And then 3, Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe, AI.
Okay.
In that range. Now, my first career start in the NBA. Was against Michael Jordan.
Really?
Yeah. Now,
he's on the Wizards?
Yeah, it's his last year on the Wizards.
Wait, your first career start.
First career start.
You're on the balls about to get tipped.
So,
you're playing the 2-3, so you're guarding him.
Yeah, like I literally, I was on the injury reserve, so I had to sit out for 5 games. I get off the injury reserve. Not supposed to play. Like one of the players got into it with the coach in warm-ups or in pregame. So he was like, all right, Fred, you're starting. Like that was my first start. And it's against MJ
and you're
Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah. And you're guarding him. It was like
Yep.
Doug Collins was, I think, the head coach of the Wizards at the time. So what happens? The ball gets tipped, and what's going through your head?
Well, luckily, I knew MJ at that time.
How do you know?
So between my junior and senior year at Oregon, he had a camp in Santa Barbara, and they would invite like the top 20 college players to come work out. And so I worked his camp for 2 weeks, and then in the evenings he would play with us. And so got to know him there, played the first couple days in that, and he took a liking to my game, and like Jordan is the reason why a lot of stuff happened for me.
Really? What did he do for you?
Gave me confidence. He told me during that camp, he was like, hey, I like your game. Like, meet me here tomorrow at 6 a.m. So I go, thinking it's going to be a lot of the players there working out, and it's me and him. And
what?
Yeah. And so he gave me so much confidence. I went back to school that year, and I was like, man, Michael Jordan likes my game.
If there's ever, it's like you're getting Shoot360. You're getting insight from MJ. So it's a secondary effect. So explain this to me. When he says this to you, do you call your family? You're like, yo, MJ just told me to come hang out with him and practice with him tomorrow after his camp. Are you freaking out inside, or are you just not a big deal because you got to be cool?
So I really don't know what it is, at that point.
So when you show up and it's just you and him, what does he tell? Give me 2 or 3 nuggets of advice he gave you that always stayed with you, because at Oregon you didn't really pop off till that senior. Right. So advice probably helped you.
Yeah. So at Oregon, I was inconsistent as a player. I would have 30 one night and then 4 the next night, or whatever. And so
which is weird in college, because if you're dropping 30 at a high level like that, you should be able to do it.
You should be able to do it
every night, but you couldn't string it together.
I just wasn't putting it together, and so. The first day we're playing, that I'm playing out there, and he's on the court, and he's like, I think I got 2 steals in a row and did these crazy dunks. And he was like, okay, I see you can dunk. Show me something else. So the next play, I hit a pull-up jump shot, 50, and he was like, okay, I like that. And then the next possession, I hit a 3, and he was like, okay, you can play. And then that's what got us, to that level. And then when I got to the NBA, I was actually a brand Jordan member. Wow. So I was on Jordan brand, and was.
So did he tell you a nugget or anything about how to play the game? Is there anything he saw? Did he see the game differently? Is he the GOAT in your mind over LeBron?
100%.
Yeah. So what made him, besides the 6 championships, how was it that he played and trained? Why was he so? What was about his work ethic? Is it just that? Yeah. I always hear rumors Carmelo could have been so much better if he practiced. People always talk about things like that. Is it a lot of things just that, and that Jordan had that desire like Kobe had?
Yeah, it was his mentality, kill everything in front of him. So he was, he was just unbelievable at understanding angles too. He knew angles better than anybody else.
And when you say angles, explain that to people. Yeah. What does that mean?
Well, angles on the floor, where people are defending you and their feet are in certain ways, and how you can maneuver their feet to move this way so you can create an angle. How when you're guarding, one person is guarding you, you're not worried about that person. You're worried about the help defender. So you can get by him, and I got to figure out an angle to get past the second defender.
It's like a game of chess. It's like you're thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. How many guys in the league today are actually thinking that way, even when you were playing? Because I do not believe that every player in the NBA is thinking that way. There's just no chance. It's got to be reserved for elite player, right? Or is everybody thinking that?
Well,
you're telling me Ben Simmons is thinking that way?
Ben Simmons was an elite player.
I don't know. He had elite gifts.
No, Ben Simmons, the first 5 years of he was all-star.
There's no way he's thinking about the angles on the floor. I do not believe it.
I bet you he was.
Okay.
So this is the thing. Ben Simmons. People always say Ben Simmons.
Well, why? What is it with Bus? What happens with that?
Well, Ben Simmons just he couldn't shoot the ball. Which that was the only thing he couldn't do. He could do everything else on the basketball floor. Well, let's talk about
this. He's the first pick of the draft. He's got if you could go to God and say, hey, God, give me this. I want to play in the NBA. He'd probably 7 of the bodies he'd give you. Okay, you want Ben Simmons' body? He can handle the ball. He's built like a
6'10".
6'10". He's built like a power forward, but he can handle the ball. You're like, oh, damn. Okay, this is a good thing. Why doesn't he sign up for Shoot360? He's the first pick of the draft, and he's got everything working for him. Though he's got the max deals out the wazoo.
Yeah, he 100% needed.
So he doesn't care.
He 100% needed Shoot360 at that point.
But why doesn't he do it?
Well, Shoot360 wasn't around
okay, I'm just telling you, I grew up in the Philly area. There's places it's maybe not Shoot360, but they had these contraptions where you put a basket around the hoop and you could practice on your, range. And so why doesn't a guy like that care enough to have a jump shot?
Yeah, I don't.
Right? I mean, it's a fair question.
You're right. But I think for a while, he didn't have to have a jump shot to be dominant. He was dominant.
But that's lazy. Kawhi Leonard comes to the league, San Diego State, and what does he do? He goes into the Spurs system. He's a 3-and-D. He becomes a 3-and-D guy because he can start shooting the ball. He gets the mid-range going. When he won in Toronto, he didn't have that at San Diego State, but he worked to get better.
Right.
So why doesn't Ben Simmons do that?
But like you said, everybody's mentality is different. Everybody doesn't have the same mentality.
Many guys in the league are thinking like Ben Simmons? Be real. Just saying it's a job. I get to play professional basketball. I really don't care about being the best. I don't care if I have a jump shot. How many people are thinking like that?
50%?
50% of the league's thinking that way. This is great. I'm...
A lot of guys, and I heard this from somebody, I think Jameis Winston, I heard him say this on one of his interviews, and he was like, when you're a kid and you're thinking about being a pro or making it to the NBA or the NFL, you're thinking about getting there. You're not thinking about being the best player there. And so
That's a good point.
A lot of it is just you don't dream high enough, and you're not, your mindset is not thinking that I want to be the best player there when I get there compared to just getting there.
That makes sense. But it's interesting because 7 years, that's a long time. I don't know what the average stint in the NBA for people is, but 7 years to stay there is big too.
Right. No, to stay there, to get a second contract, to do that is what you want. I tell my kids all the time, I'm not happy with my career. I wish I would have did more.
Yeah.
I felt like I should have did more. But I was in that same boat. I didn't think that I didn't tell myself I should be an all-star or I should be this.
Right.
I was just happy being there and that.
Right. It's an honest reflection. And I think a lot of that's probably as you're playing AAU, you're growing up, you're doing all these things. There's everybody wants to play in the NBA.
Right.
So just to get there is it's a championship in itself.
Right.
So the mentality to want more. What do you think if somebody if a Rick Carlisle or an MJ, because it seems like as I'm talking to you, you're one of these guys, which I love. It's you're the perfect type of pro because you really took to coaching, I could see. When Rick Carlisle boosted your confidence, that was good for you.
Absolutely.
When MJ pulls you aside and gives you that. So what could there have been a situation in the league? Because you were with the Pacers, Raptors, Blazers, Knicks, Clippers. What if a Popovich or somebody just pulled you aside and said, hey, you're winning dunk contests, but you could be this type of guy. What would have been? What if you maximize your potential? Who could you have been?
I think it could have been special. I get drafted to the Pacers, a really good team playing behind Reggie Miller was great. But I was supposed to get drafted to Toronto at the 20th pick, and that was the end of Vince Carter, but they wanted me to play the point guard and be in a backcourt with me and Vince Carter.
Wow.
And so I was like, whoa, that could have been special, at that point, and I could have played a different role. Out of anything, I think I'd never, if I was a point guard in the league, then I would have been one of that first age of really athletic point guards.
Yeah,
that turned into Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook.
That's what you think could have happened.
Yeah.
Because we were accustomed when the NBA that you were watching and I was watching before you got to the league, it was the Andre Millers. It was these guys who are very physical, tough, Ron Harpers.
Yeah.
These guys who were gritty, they know the game well, but they're not doing what Derrick Rose is doing.
Right.
They're not doing what, Russell Westbrook ended up doing as a point guard. So, there was a different there wasn't the scoring mentality.
Right.
AI was more, he had Eric Snow.
Right.
He was more of a two, but people classified him as, so you really think that could have, that somebody should have saw that. So if you felt.
Well, somebody did see it, and it was Charles Barkley.
Really? My guy.
Yes, it was crazy. I I get to Portland one summer after the season, and I go in this bar, and I'm here. Somebody was like, "Fred, come here," and it's Charles Barkley.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, I don't even know he knows who I am, first. And so I go over to him, and he was like, "I got something for you," and I'm like, "Huh? Like, what's up?" He was like, "We got to make you a point guard. You got to be a point guard." He was like, "If you're a point guard, you're one of the best players in the league." He was like, "But we got to get that done." And he was really the only person that saw it. The next year, I'm playing with Indiana, and our point guard, Jamal Tinsley, gets hurt. We had A.J. Johnson, who was our backup. Something happened with him, so I have to start at the point guard. Our first game was in Portland, and I had 18, 8, and 8. And then
oh my God! Just from a position change.
Just from the position.
Because you were playing more what 2?
Yeah, I was a 2.
But right. So, hearing this, it's mind blowing to me because it's like I'm looking at everything with, like Jalen Brunson, right? He's playing in Dallas.
Right.
And he's coming off the bench. He's a second-round guy. He's kind of playing the 1-2, but he's got to share time with Luka. He's not really ball dominant in his opportunities there. And Rick Carlisle's putting him in that spot, kind of.
Right.
And then you see what happens when he's the featured guy, and it's a totally different situation. He's an all-star. He's a face of the league.
Right.
So you're saying situationally,
it
just
matters.
Carlisle didn't see you as a 1. And
Jamal Tinsley was a really good point guard.
He was good, but he wasn't blowing up. He wasn't dropping 18 easy, Jamal Tinsley.
Right.
He was more a 12 and 10 guy.
Yeah. And, a lot of it, too, is who you're playing with and how that works. So, when I was in Indiana, we were a post-up team. Jermaine O'Neal,
right.
We were getting him the ball, and then luckily the games that I started at the point, Jermaine was out too. So we got to play fast, and I got to play in a different way.
So can you, because I remember, I don't know, at that Malice in the Palace, Worldwide West is why I don't know why. First of all, why was he on the floor?
So it's crazy. I was just at the Oregon-Indiana game, and West was on the field this weekend. I saw him there. But he used to represent players, and so Rip Hamilton was his guy.
Exactly. And Rip came on the show here, and I get then he worked with Leon Rose, who's now president with the Knicks, and then they worked together in New York. But could you have said to Wes, if he was your agent, I know who your agent was, but could you have said, hey, Charles Barkley knows ball, okay? He's on Inside the NBA every day. He's a Hall of Famer. This guy knows basketball. He says, if I am put at the point guard position, I'm suddenly going to become a perennial all-star. I feel the same way in my heart too. Agent, go make that happen for me and get me to a situation where somebody sees that in me like Toronto did. Is the NBA more like that now and it wasn't like that back then?
Yeah, definitely more like that now. Today, guys take control of their careers a little more.
Right.
Before, we kind of let the business be the business and let those people do what they're supposed to do. Now guys are more adaptive, trying to control their career.
It's so maddening. It's like SGA on the Clippers is one thing, and then he gets situated in OKC, and it's or even Haliburton with the sack.
Well, SGA, that was only his rookie year.
Yeah, but still, he gets it's put into the perfect situation where he can handle. What is it? What do you think about Haliburton? Is this guy? As we're talking Shoot360, and we're going to get to all that stuff. This is a guy with a funky jump shot. I don't know if Tyrese Haliburton showed up to a Shoot360 location, I'm pretty sure somebody would say, hey, your mechanics are off, dude, right? Or no?
No.
Okay.
And I'll say this because Shoot360 really is not about fixing your mechanics. It's about giving you an opportunity to hone in on whatever your mechanics are. It gives you your arc, your depth, your left or right, so you see all of that information on the board. But Shoot360 is more about, 30 minutes you can get 500 shots up. You got to get consistent shot attempts.
But I played basketball not at your level, but I know when I was growing up, people said if you shoot the ball like that, you're going to get that shot's going to get blocked. Like, it's just how he has it. I mean, his mechanics. I mean, right?
That's a lot of coaches that tell you the bad, not the right things.
Okay.
Just because you're a coach don't mean you're a good coach all the time.
I needed Shoot 360 in my life. All right, so explain this to me. So, obviously, Shoot 360, basketball, it's ever-changing. And the game is so different now, where it's AAU and all these things. Now you got to have AAU. You got to have high school. You almost got to treat your youth career like a pro to start because now you got NIL, you got all these things that are going. So there's never been a better time to have a Shoot 360, because if you're taking your game seriously as a youngster, or even, somebody who just wants to get back on the court, but let's just talk, if you're a guy who's really trying to elevate their game, what can Shoot 360 do for you?
Oh, tremendous. I am when I played in the NBA, I was a decent shooter. When I owned my Shoot 360 and I was in there every day, today I'm a way better shooter than I was when I was in the NBA.
Are you serious?
100%. Just because the number of attempts you get up in a day, the constant feedback of the arc.
You weren't getting this when you played in the league.
No.
How is that possible? Multi-million-dollar organizations, billionaires, they're not doing this kind of stuff.
They weren't then. Today, they are.
Ben Simmons doesn't have a contract today. I don't know. The date is, it's December, what is it, the 14th? It's October 14th. Like, can this guy get into a Shoot 360 right now, please? I mean, the dude, so he can get this shot going. Right. He just needs the reps and somebody to tell him.
No, when you're a kid, now I got two boys that, before we moved out here, they were in Shoot 360 every day. And they were one of the better shooters around the country for their age group, just because it's muscle memory. You see your numbers, on every shot you shoot, it gives you, we have what's called a splash meter. And so if you can get all of your arc, your depth, your left to right in green, then it almost guarantees you to make shots. And so the more shots you shoot in there, you feel the muscle memory and how it feels to be in that.
The splash meter, like the Splash Brothers. I love that. So, all right, so you started with Shoot 360 because you had two locations you owned, right?
Right.
Where are they?
Indianapolis, and Chicago, Naperville.
Whoa, okay, of course. Okay, yeah, I went to Northwestern, so I know Naperville. It's a good area. So, okay, so you have these locations, and most people that are using them, because there's a few different things. There's Ball is Life. There's youngsters who are trying to just get their game. Is there a lot of youth that come in and they use it as their training grounds to just get, not just for high school, but for AAU, for college recruiting, all that stuff?
Oh, absolutely. We're a membership base, so you can come in, get a membership that's for a month or 3 months or whatever, and you can utilize the facility every day. And so the kids that spend the most time in there and come in and shoot and use it correctly, then you see the improvement really quickly.
So if you had, take me back to Fred before he's a Duck, or even while you're an Oregon Duck, if you had a Shoot 360 when you were growing up and somebody, you had your membership and you were in there, what could have happened?
I think I would have been an all-star in the league.
Because why? Because you would have just had the reps.
Shooting the ball opens up your game for people like myself. I was an athlete, but if people had to play me closer because I shot it so well, if I was really confident in the way I shot the ball, then that would open up my whole game. Yeah.
And nobody to pull you aside, or did you have shooting when you were growing up? Did people teach you how to shoot? Like, how did that? No.
Not really teach me how to shoot. Of course, we worked on some form stuff and stuff, but it was really just get in the gym and shoot. But getting in the gym, like I can go to a high school gym right now and just shoot, but I'm not getting feedback on, and so I'm trying to guess and make the adjustments myself instead of hearing it from technology.
So teach everybody at home right now. If you were going to teach somebody, just give us a taste of what could happen if we join Shoot 360. Teach us how to shoot the perfect jump shot right now.
Okay, so you come in.
Show us.
So a perfect jump shot for me, I'm
Oh,
Your
so it
elbow
already
up.
doesn't look like Tyrese Haliburton. And because Bryce, who's over here too, and everybody's like, oh, it's no, doesn't look like Tyrese.
I didn't say his jumper was pretty. I just said it works for him.
Okay, okay.
Reggie Miller, one of the greatest shooters of all time. It crosses his hand every time.
All right. Everybody's got their own thing, but okay. So it's not okay. So let me see. Go back to how yours look.
Okay, so I'm just here, follow through.
That's how you got.
That's how I shoot.
The guide hand. That's what people say.
Have your guide hand on the ball.
Yeah.
What a lot of people struggle with in kids is that their guide hand, their thumb, usually thumbs the ball, and so that causes the rotation to go off a little different, and that causes a bad shooter.
Gotcha.
At that point. But having your guide hand and then how the ball sits on your hand. A lot of kids right now sits flat on their hand. Should be a little space in there, and making sure it comes off your middle finger.
And you're really using a lot of. There's a lot. How much of the finger flick is there, and how much wrist is going on?
Huge. Always they say reach in the cookie jar.
Reach in the cookie jar.
So you want to flick your wrist, reach in the jar, and get the proper rotation on the ball.
There's some guys who I see in the league, they got a lot of rotation. There's some guys it's flat. There's no rotation. Right. So you could do it either way, I guess. It just depends how it is. But once you find the style that comforts you, whether you're Haliburton or Fred Jones, how many shots do you have to get up a day to – what would you teach them? What would you tell your sons now? How many shots minimum do you need to be getting up every day?
Yeah, well – I would like my kids to make 500 a day.
Make 500 a day.
Yeah.
So if it takes you 505, fine. If it takes you 2,500,
right?
You got to get 500
Make 500.
And where is that from? It's not from the elbow. I mean, where is this from?
Realistically, it should. You got to do it all. So it could be 500 floaters. One day, and then because you got to have, I think they say 100,000. Makes gives you is trying to make you perfect at something, or so many hours.
10,000 hours. Malcolm Gladwell always talked about it. In Outliers, he talks about the 10,000 hour rule. So the Beatles had 10,000 hours practicing playing music, or Steve Jobs had 10,000 hours up in Seattle area doing before he started Microsoft. He was at University of Michigan. He had 10,000 hours playing around with the computer to really, stuff like that.
And basketball is the same. You got to put in.
And if you're Ben Simmons, you get 2 hours. Hey, listen, I used to be a Philadelphia Sixers fan. He was, not the best.
He was a great player for you guys for a long time.
AI was a great player. That was a great player, man.
AI was a great player.
He was the man. I mean, there was nobody. Who was your first moment on the floor? I mean, you guarded MJ that first. Did you do anything against him? You steal a ball from him, or block his shot, or dunk on him, or anything?
I did not specifically on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe.
Larry Hughes may have been on that team. I don't know.
I don't know. No, Larry Hughes, Jerry Stackhouse was the other. Stackhouse was their main scorer.
Gotcha.
That year. But Jordan averaged 20 that year. And
how crazy was that? He was in his 40s. He was 39 or 40, right?
Yeah, he was 40. The second game we played against him, I didn't play. But I was there watching, and he had 40 on us at age 40.
It was crazy. But LeBron has done amazing stuff with his body up until this point, too.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your top 5 all time?
Top 5. MJ, LeBron, Kobe. I'm going to say Shaq. And then it's a tie for the 5th with with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant.
Wow. A lot of good stuff there. I like all these guys. All right. Real quickly, before we let you go, you've shared so much with us. I could do another 2 hours just on Malice in the Palace, but we won't do that. Ball is life. So now we know we could go to the Shoot360 to get our reps. I got to come check this out. I want to do this Splash Brothers thing. I could shoot a little bit. I also went to a low post camp. You should see my crab step, Fred. Okay. My crab step is I was like a Vin Baker in like a 175-pound body. It wasn't, but listen, one of those kinds of things. But tell us, ball is life. There's a lot of opportunity with Shoot 360. Not just it could be for people who want they still want to get a taste of the game, right? Explain that component.
Yeah. Well, Shoot 360 has partnered with Ball is Life to throw these Shoot 360 leagues. So our leagues it's 3 people shooting in a cage at the same time. You're on a team, and you're competing against another group that's there, or in any of the 55 locations around the country, Shoot 360, virtually. So it's a great league. It just started. We're on the first week right now. I put our high school team in the league.
Which high school is that?
Palo Verde.
Oh, okay. You put them in, and they're competing.
Yep. I'm shooting with them.
And your shot's better than ever.
Better than ever.
I got to see this.
Oh, come check us out.
This is all right. So we got that. So there's all these leagues going on, and I know our guy Bryce from Shoot 360. The expansion. Let's focus on that for a second. What's the goal? Are we going to try to get multiple locations all over the country? What's in each state? What's the deal?
Yeah, absolutely. It's already multiple in some states, of course. But we feel like this product is easily, in all around the country and the world. We even got a couple overseas right now in Canada, in Taiwan, in Georgia, Republic of Georgia.
Oh my God!
So it's growing.
You got even in Georgia, the country, not even the state.
Right.
You got it.
We got it in both. The state of Georgia and the Republic.
I'm so stupid. When I used to see that on a map, I'm like, "Where's Atlanta? There? It's not close to there." All right. And if you go to shoot360.com, you can see you can even become a franchise owner and all that stuff. Yep. That might be something Ben Simmons wants to do. I know he's got like $250-300 million in these max contracts. I'm sure he can buy a franchise, so that's something he can look into. But this is a great opportunity. Here in Vegas, where is it at?
I don't know the exact. I know it's off of Rainbow.
Okay, off of Rainbow. So you can look it up online.
Yeah.
Shoot 360. Palo Verde High School's playing in it. We got that. And there's a lot of opportunity. If you're a guy on the couch who just loves the NBA, used to maybe play a little bit, you're like me, you just want to get out and get around on the floor, you can join a league.
Come check it out. Definitely join the league. And high school basketball is about to start here, so come check us out. Come check out my varsity team at Palo Verde too.
Are you head coach?
I'm assistant coach.
Assistant coach.
So my son is a sophomore and playing there and playing pretty well.
Who's got better hops, you or him?
He says he does. I don't believe him, but we're close. He's a good athlete, though.
Okay, all right. I'm excited to see all this stuff. Real quickly before I let you go, what was it like playing in China and Italy?
It was different.
A lot of players I've spoken to in the past here on the show, it's hard. It's a hard adjustment.
Yeah. So from being in the NBA 7 years and then going to Italy, and I was like in a small village, like outside of Milan.
Wow.
And it was
it's not romantic.
Shock.
It's not one of those things where you're like, oh my God, I got all this fresh pasta and pizza around.
No chance.
It's lonely.
It was not a good ideal situation for me at that point. So Italy, I wasn't a fan. I didn't like it.
But China, they treat their NBA guys good.
China, I had a lot of fun and I loved it. So Italy, they didn't, it's soccer and other stuff. They didn't really care about basketball.
Right.
China, they love basketball.
Yeah.
And so
Stephon Marbury could be president over there.
Right. And I was a teammate with Steph.
Were you?
With the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, China loved it, and it was very successful over there.
Okay, Fred Jones, former slam dunk champion, 14th pick of the NBA draft, 7 years in the league, played with some of the greatest. And listen, if he had to shoot 360, we don't even if he fell to Toronto,
right?
What could have happened?
Could have been.
It could have been exciting. But it's great to have you here. Real quickly, last smack talk. Who's the worst smack talker? Craziest in the league, who always was in your ear just yapping? I know a lot of people talk. Chris Paul today is big on that, but was Kobe? Who was the big?
Kobe wasn't talking a lot unless you talk to him.
Okay,
which I wasn't a talker like that.
KG
was
Reggie.
Absolutely and Reg used to talk too. Yeah, Reg would talk. But as far as people, other teams, KG was the biggest for sure.
KG was the biggest. All right, we learned so much. Thanks for spending so much time with us, guys. Shoot360 here in our community all over the country. Go in there. You don't want to be Ben Simmons. You want to be able to shoot the ball, right? You want to be able to have all the gifts and get those 500 shots, those 500 makes, I should say. You need to have a day.
Yep.
And we got to see. I want to check I'm going to come in and do a segment there and see I want to see the green splash meter. I want to make that happen. Any last words you want to tell us, Fred?
No, appreciate you having me. Look forward to it. Check us out.
All right, Shoot360. Shout out to Bryce with us here as well. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here in the Den. Thank you to Fred Jones. We'll see you next time here for Sound Off Sports.